Hey, I'm Nashi.
I'm Rezlar.
And I'm Frosty. Welcome back to the Value Pack.
Hold on, I have to gear check Nash right now. Alright, that is some bull jabber. Dude, he CC'd me out of dance. What's happening? Wrestler!
People look at you like you're crazy, and they refuse to admit that it's pay to win, and just scream that it's pay to convenience! It's pay to convenience!
Big money, big money, big money, big money!
money! Oh shit, we got it! We fucking got it!
And welcome back to the Value Pack, everybody. What is this? Episode 112? Episode 112. Rezlar will not be joining us today. His computer pooped itself or something. I think he got new parts and they're just not in yet because his CPU...
He was saying there was a hard drive issue.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so he's having some
He has
issues.
Geek Squad trying to fix it, sounds like.
Yeah, he's at Best Buy right now, and he's gonna stay at Best Buy for the next few weeks. So
yeah,
I'm just kidding. It should be fixed by the end of this weekend, but yeah, he's having computer trouble. So Nayashi and I are just going to do a short one. Before we begin, I want to thank the patrons: Hawaiian, I Has Issues, Jeremy Johnson, Lord Carrot, Mineria, Slytech, Talos X Septum, thanks, and Wavezy. Thank you guys so much for the support. If you want to support the podcast or support us, you check out the Patreon link in the description below the video on YouTube, and you can support there. We appreciate that very, very much. So on to other things. We're going to do kind of a short one. We're going to speed run this one. I want to talk about... We're going to talk about Ataraxion Dungeon, but we're going to do it in a spoiler-free way, and by that I mean we're barely going to talk about it. We're mostly just going to talk about the rewards, because I think it's a big deal. And so far, because I've been trying to avoid spoilers, almost
what kind
entirely.
of spoilers?
Well, just how it's done, how to solve the puzzles, like everything. I'm trying to avoid all of that stuff. Yeah, because when I go in, I want it to feel like my first time. You know.
Yeah. No, I agree completely, and I'm sure a lot of players would prefer that, anyways.
Yeah. So, let's get to these rewards. So, they have these boxes now. This is like, because I've been avoiding spoilers, I've also been avoiding learning anything about how this works. But there's different rewards that you can get, I guess, for completing certain quests and getting to a certain point in the dungeon, completing the whole thing. I'm told you have to defeat elites to get a key to move on to like the next section. And sorry, I needed some water. Someone in chat saying Geek Squad is beyond useless. No, they're not. They're geniuses. They save America from themselves, okay? Yeah, so they have these boxes where you can get some RNG stuff. And it looks like you can get some of the rarer stuff is... I actually don't know what a Golden Desert Tear is. I forget. You can get Black Spirit Claw Piece. You can get compass parts like Elton, Vodkin, and the Ackman piece.
Oh, you can get the Ackman pieces?
Yeah, apparently you can get all of them, I believe.
Ooh. Nifty.
Maybe it's
That'll be
only
exciting
two.
for players.
I think it's all of them, but maybe it's only two. I don't know. You also can get different accessories based on the rare boxes or the rare chests that you get. That can be when you open them, they can be pry. I guess one of these boxes, the Boz rare chest, can give you up to a pry of a Tungrad neck, latent power stone, Tungrad earring, ring of crescent guardian, or Bassi belt. The Boz rare box can give you up to try. And then you get these oath tokens, which you can, I guess, either exchange for gold bars. Oh, no, these are the mock fragments. You can exchange the mock fragments that you get from the thing. I don't know what they're going to actually be called when we get them. You can exchange them for gold bars, for raw silver, and then you can exchange these oath tokens for different items. They have Kaffir stones in there, memory fragments, I believe, enhancement things, Elkar crystals, and a set of weapon swap coupons, which I guess are one-time buy only for 1,000 pieces. You get a full set, which is kind of nice. And so I was told, and this, I didn't see him say it directly, but apparently you can make like 300 or 400 mil in an hour on the low end, and if you get
I
really
was
RNG
hearing
carried,
similar.
yeah, and if you get really RNG carried, you can make like upwards of 1 or 2 bill. If you got like super carried, like if you're getting like a try accessory and blah blah blah. So, yeah, kind of nice. I don't know. The first day, I was like kind of glancing and just asking like, how is it? And I was being told that it was hard like at first, and then when you finish it or kind of know what you're doing, it takes like an hour ish for like an average person, but it's actually really hard. Like the hard one is really hard, and apparently the easy one, some people think it's too hard, but again, I have vague knowledge of it. All I know is I'm really excited for it because it's different and people seem to be having fun with it. It looks like on day 2 and day 3, some of the same players on the Korean server that were doing the dungeon were doing it again, which I feel like if you thought it was really shitty or not fun, you probably wouldn't go
be
back.
doing it a second time.
So, yeah. So I'm kind of excited about that. I just wanted to have some replayability, and I think it'll be kind of hype. So, Ataraxion came out June 2nd. We have the Hideout Ball June 19th. Maybe they'll give us the date for when we're getting it then. It does kind of suck because it's a dungeon that has like mechanics and puzzles that it's literally going to be solved before we get it. I really hate that a lot because I think it would be cool if it came out for every region at the same time and everyone was like figuring it out around the same time, you know? I don't know.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be like, I guess they have leaderboards for completion, and like on our server that's just way less important because it's already solved, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it'll be great for the first time it's been completed kind of thing, see who gets it done first. There was I can't remember the damn show, but there was like a show, a Chinese anime that was kind of basically it's about these individuals that play an MMO game. It was a show about kids playing a game, but it was like a super competitive thing where it's the same game they're used to playing, but they would start like quote unquote a season, so to speak, a fresh server, and they would go in and there would be extra like titles and rewards if you're the first to complete it. So it was like a competition who can get through the dungeons and the achievements first. So it would be a strategy because certain ones you could go and try to do a lot of these quicker ones, but the harder ones would give you more rewards and stuff like that. I forget what the name of it was, but it was pretty interesting. Wish they would kind of do something like that, but
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what
the
happens.
King's Avatar. Yes.
Is that it? The King's Avatar?
Yeah, you should watch it. I think you would actually like it.
This is an anime?
Yeah, well, it's a weird style anime. They kind of do like the 3D looking graphics. It's I can't remember, CGI or something like that. It's weird.
I see. I'll consider it, you know.
I'll send you a link later.
Send me a link. Send me a link. Where's the link gonna be to it? Just some illegal download
very
or
sketchy
something?
looking Chinese website. Yeah, it'll be great. You'll enjoy it.
All right. That's all I ask, dude. Yeah, so that's kind of it. I not to be too brief on it, but I'm really hyped about the dungeon. I've avoided spoilers at all costs, so I don't know as much as I'd like to know, but at the same time I know exactly as much as I want to know because I don't want to know much, you know?
Yeah.
In other news, we had this weird thing happen, and this is another thing that I'm a little bit vague on, and it's like it's mostly word of mouth. But they temporarily suspended sales of items, specifically weapons, main hand, awakening, and sub weapons of 10 billion silver or more. Here's the notice that they gave us. So I'm just going to read this verbatim and then explain a little bit about what I've heard, and then we can extrapolate from there what we think is going on and what we think will happen in the future. They say, "Greetings, adventurers. We recently discovered it was possible to trade items through an unintended method using the central market. As a result, we temporarily disabled." I know,
recently.
Right? As a result, we temporarily disabled the trade of high-value main, awakening, and sub weapons during the maintenance on June 2nd. Since the central market is an important mechanic that greatly influences the game, we ask for your understanding and the understanding regarding the lack of prior notice before we implemented the measure above. To summarize, the following have been temporarily disabled from being traded: Main Awakening and sub-weapons that are worth, and originally it was 100 mil and they changed it to 10 bill. 10 billion or more silver cannot be bought or sold on the central market. After we temporarily disabled the trade of the items above, we started investigating the trade records of Pen Black Star items and other important items. However, such an exhaustive investigation will take some time, and we apologize in advance for any inconveniences that may arise as a result. We will update you once our investigations are complete and let you know what actions we'll be taking if we discover any evidence of improper trade. Additionally, we will be taking steps to prevent the improper use of the central market and improving the central market to ensure its fairness for all adventurers. As such, the results of our investigations will be announced in a further notice, and we are working to prepare the central market update as quickly as possible. We'll do our best to ensure fair gameplay environment for Black Desert Online. Thank you for your patience and understanding. So currently, this was on June 2nd. This got posted, I think, kind of near the end of the day, if I remember correctly. It was like a little
Something
bit
like
after
that,
the
yeah.
patch. And it's still implemented. Like, we still cannot buy or sell items on the central marketplace.
Well,
So
those weapons.
yeah, still cannot buy or sell weapons on the central marketplace of 10 billion silver or more, which is unfortunate. I do have an order on a Pen Black Star that I probably was never going to have filled because
I literally dodged the bullet because after the podcast, was it after the podcast? I bought my Pen Nova this past weekend. So I
Yeah.
literally barely missed this issue.
right. You can buy, but you cannot post. Well, yeah, but all the listings also got removed, so you can't technically buy either. I believe everyone's items that were listed got removed, and there's like 0, unless I'm mistaken. Pretty sure there's nothing up there. Anyway, so the thing is like, I guess this has to do with RMT. I was told there was a in-game protest complaining about RMT specifically related to Black Star, but also other areas of the game. The thing is like
KR threw a fit.
RMT is so RMT in this instance is basically like, hey, I'm selling an item, but I'm going to sell it to a specific person on a specific class to try to get actual money out of that person in real life, because the scarcity of these items, like they're not sold very often. So, you know, they kind of exploit that fact and get real money out of people. And it's unfortunate because, like, for example, with Pen Black Star, I've been like staring at the Pen Black Star market for the last 2 weeks ever since I put an order up, and there have been multiple items sold. So they were capped out at 99.5 bill, which is the absolute max you can sell it. But people were selling them at min price, so the max price actually dipped. Like, even though this item is in supreme demand and would sell on any weapon at max price, people are listing them for 20 bill cheaper to get actual money out of it. So,
which is insane that you can actually list it that low.
I know, the range is so stupid. Yeah, the range is actually so dumb. Yeah, so like the recent longbow was sold for 80 bill. Like 80.5 bill.
No one in their right mind does that unless they got some objective. So
yeah, it's really stupid, and it's frustrating because, I mean, for anybody that's trying to buy something, so on NA and EU, I don't know EU exactly, I can't speak for EU, but on NA and probably EU as well, like Black Star is very, very rare. So there's typically none listed at any given point, but there's like an order up on multiple versions of these, because people like myself, like I would just throw up a random order on a Pen Black Star axe or battle axe or whatever and hope that someone happens to sell one to me. Or if I know someone that's selling one, you know, they'd be like, hey, I'm selling a amulet. Do you want it? I'm going to list it right now or whatever. Like, you just basically have to hope and pray. But the problem is, when you just have an order up, you're competing against a bunch of people that don't want to sell it to you because you're not going to give them real money. So they're not going to list it for you. And with reroll coupons in game and access to reroll coupons in various ways, people are literally just like finding someone that wants to buy it, rolling it to the class of their choice, and then selling it to them at min price. It kind of sucks. It's, I don't know. It sucks because I don't want to pay real money for this. Like, I don't want to pay real money for any silver item in the game or any in-game item. It's like kind of stupid. And then on other servers, it's different too, because here, like, I feel like the game's been out long enough, and a large percentage of the player base has gotten to the point where they're moving on from like Pen-Offen and Penzarka.
Yeah, they want the next bigger, better thing.
Yeah, and in some cases Pendandy, or they're playing Succession, so they don't feel like they need a Pendandy, or whatever the reason. But our Offens and Zarkas and Dandies are really accessible. But on some other servers that are either newer or smaller, like Pendandy and Zarka and stuff are also like 25, 30, 35, 40 bill, and like really expensive or hard to get. And they're dealing with RMT that way as well. So with sub weapons, with awakening weapons, and main hands, it's like actually a problem, because you can list, what's unique about these compared to armor and accessories is you can list it for a specific class, and there's no way to have your order up for every class. So it's like, I don't know.
And and just with the sheer value of it, not everyone has an order up, so it makes it easier for this to even be possible. So
exactly.
To your point, yeah.
Not everyone happens to have 100 bill just chilling, ready to sell at any given time or buy. So, yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do. I've heard a couple options. Briz had a really cool Reddit post that he actually put up a year ago to resolve this same exact problem, and I believe he posted it kind of recently, like 3 days ago when this all started. But you had an idea. One of the things is like just to make it easier to reroll in general, but the other one is, hold on, let me find it. Where's this post?
I think you put it in the
Yeah, it should still be somewhere.
Where did you put it?
Should still be somewhere on the
Box chat.
Where is this, dude? Where's your post, Briz?
Where did I see that?
Well, it's definitely I thought it would still be kind of near the top because it had a lot of interaction, but or maybe I just scroll past it and I'm blind.
Possibly.
Nope. I'm just bad, dude. Anyway, but his idea, the TLDR.
Oh, here, I got it.
You have it?
I got it. Yeah. Let me post it in here. That it?
Yeah. So I'm gonna just focus on this first part because the second part is a little bit different. That's for like being able to reroll easy, I guess, while still being like taxed on it. But this first part, basically the idea would be when you, instead of listing a specific weapon, and having an order on a specific weapon, and in his example here he has like Dandy, you would literally you would list the item on the marketplace and it would become a box and your orders would just be on the box of that item. So for example, if I wanted a Pen Black Star, instead of there being 22 different Pen Black Stars that you can put an order up and just hoping you get one, everyone would put their order on a Pen Black Star box, and when you win the order, you would just get the box and open it on your class.
And that's a solid solution to deal with this problem. There's just a couple things that some people might find, to be issues. That's on them if that's how they feel. But one, people that make them like to have their name on it as like a sort of accomplishment, but at the same time, I
Well,
would argue you're selling it, so it's not like
well,
you're
that
keeping
but that
it.
you could retain that. I mean, you can use
Yeah, yeah,
reroll
yeah,
coupons and your name is still on it. Like they could
yeah.
find a
That's
way to retain the name even with the
yeah,
box.
yeah. They would have to code it, yeah, for sure, to where it would stick with the boxed item, and that way, whatever class they open it on, the name still sticks. So that'd be one little caveat. The other one I think would be, what was it? I was just thinking of it a second ago, but can't think of it right now. Lost it. It's gone. Chased away.
Chased away. Probably Chase iframed it. The other option that I guess is a little bit more simple, would be you can only list an item for the max price on weapons or like high ticket weapons. So, for example, if someone lists a Pen Blackstar longbow, there's literally only one price to list it for. If it's an item that's like that high in demand. This one is like, I feel like this one has a little bit more risk in that if they don't keep the prices fair, then the price could be like outdated or, you know what I mean? Like for a long time. Like right now, it makes the most sense to have these locked at max, right? Because they're a high, like people want them. They're a really high value item. People want them. They're hard to get. So the 100 bill is like worth paying for. However, I don't know, 2 years from now, they might not be worth 100 bill, and there might be like 50 of them sitting on buy, and if they don't adjust the market accordingly, then they're just sitting there, you know, and you can't ever sell these items. So,
which is probably why there's such a wide range in the current, you know, Pen Blackstar market.
Right. But yeah, that's I don't know. Outside of that, maybe they'll do
I like
something
his
different.
solution. I like his solution. I think that's a fair thing. I just wanted to point out that one issue as a potential, like, people complain about, whatever. But I think his solution is definitely acceptable, and I think the devs should really take a look at that.
These days, they have a pearl item you can buy to remove names from your shit. So
yeah. That's why I said it's like some people might consider that an issue for them personally. I don't personally consider it an issue. I couldn't care less whose name is on my weapon.
I feel like the name would be more important if it was like,
if you're keeping it.
Well, imagine if you linked it and it said your name in the link, like it was like So Frosty's Pen Dandy.
Yeah,
short sword.
that would definitely be cooler that way.
But the name
that would
just
be
randomly
more prestigious.
Yeah, the name just randomly being in the item description is so strange. It's always been strange to me. But anyway, so that's kind of going on. Hopefully this gets addressed. I mean, selfishly, I want a Pen Blackstar, and I would like to just compete against other people with 100 bill, not other people with 100 bill and $1,000. You know, that'd be nice.
Is that how much? Is that what you found out? People are.
I don't know. Like
for?
The rumors I've heard is that there's people that have bought them for between like $1,000 and $2,000, which is like I literally can't.
Fuck?
I literally can't compete. What am I supposed to do?
That's insane. Who would spend $1,000?
I don't fucking
on
know.
one item. Like,
People
you know,
that are
back when you know, when I say this, say it jokingly. Back when you know, account buying was a thing, right? That's still going on, but you know, I could understand buying a full account and whatnot for maybe that much, I guess, because if you think about it, like how much money you end up spending in the game while you're gearing up and how much time it takes, I could see it being worth that kind of value to someone. But like one item, I can't see that.
Yeah. Dude, I remember my friend in Diablo 2 way back in the day. He bought in Diablo 2, he bought a Wind Force on eBay, which was like a bow for the Amazon.
Yeah.
He bought it for $20, and like at the time we were kids.
I had an 08 Wind Force back in the day after they patched those out originally, so it like snuck through.
Well, the thing that was funny is we played
those really good ones.
We played hardcore. So if you die, you lose everything, right? And he bought a Wind Force, for $20, and I remember I was like in a call with him, and he was playing or whatever, and he fucking got PK'd and lost his win force, and
Oh
dude,
no.
he literally lost it the fucking day after he bought it.
Oh no.
It was dude, it was so funny. Like, I don't know why, but for some reason his agony just fucking was so funny to me. Oh my god, dude.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
That is horrible.
So he got punished for RMTing. He got punished in a major way for RMT.
Hey, you know, they allowed it by not doing anything.
Yeah. All right. So you wanted to talk about add-ons. There's a bug that got fixed on Global Labs, what, 5-6 weeks ago, maybe 7 weeks ago now, and then got fixed on our server like 7 weeks ago, like a week after that, and it seems to have shown its face again. I don't know if it just never got completely fixed, or if it was only partially fixed, or if it got fixed and then now it's showing itself again. But basically, add-ons going through Frontal Guard. You want to elaborate a little bit on what's happening with add-ons going through Frontal Guard, Nash, and why it's pissing you off?
Yeah. So, well, part of the reason why it's pissing me off is because, one, they fixed it 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago.
There's a little. I think it was a little bit longer now, but yeah, somewhere like a month or two ago, basically.
Yeah. I wouldn't say 2, but yeah, definitely about a month, maybe a couple weeks more than that. But it was relatively recent that they fixed this, and basically the issue is, before, for a long time, if you were using your block or forward guard skill, you would still get debuffs applied to you, even though you were guarding, when that's not actually supposed to happen. Like, it'd be different if it was like an AoE skill that hit around your frontal guard, I guess. That would be fine. Because that would, at least make sense. You're getting hit in the side and the back, that's fine. I can understand that being an issue and reason why you would get them applied. But like, if you're like straight up blocking a skill, say an example would be like Devastation or Gravedigger, and it's not a skill that really goes around your guard at all, as long as you're just like facing it and blocking, there's no reason why you should get any debuffs. You don't really take, I mean, you get damaged a little bit with forward guards, but not like much. So the idea was, you're not supposed to be getting any of these debuffs, but you were anyways.
Right.
They fixed that by saying that, you no longer will get debuffs applied to you in your forward guard. And it was working fine for like a few weeks. And then 2 patches ago, I think, they now are back to not working properly, and you get debuffs applied. And I think if I'm quoting you correctly, what you said it was is basically, if you have a negative and a positive add-ons, for example, a buff and a debuff add-on.
This is
skill,
Multi was like testing it in BA the other day, and yeah, he was basically saying that if you have one positive, one negative, so if you have like, for example, an attack speed buff for yourself on a skill add-on and an attack speed slow for the enemy, then it's going to go through frontal guard. Something to do with the positive negative interaction makes it go through their frontal guard. Yeah,
so basically shit coding, unfortunately, is the cause. So hopefully that gets addressed. I know some people have put the tickets in for that, but if you feel obligated to put in a ticket as well, that doesn't hurt to get more information. You don't want to have a situation where everyone assumes someone put out a ticket for it and it never gets addressed because they don't know about it.
Yeah, she's trying to raise awareness here. He's a Mewa, all right? Slows are the bane of his existence.
Slows are the bane of my existence. When I'm sitting there blocking and I'm doing like every fucking thing in my power to survive not getting slowed, and then that shit goes through anyway, it's just like, okay, sure, game, whatever you say.
Yeah.
So,
needs to be fixed.
Yeah, just something that needs to be addressed.
Or PvP corners, someone says. Yeah, he doesn't like
PvP.
He's trying to avoid slows and corners at all costs.
Just every time I'm in a corner, I hear that song, "Hello, Darkness, My Old Friend," just creeping up behind me.
Poor Nashi. He's also not good at yesing up for wars.
Apparently. Well, all right. So to be fair, yeah, there's really no way out of that one.
Yeah, no. You just.
All right.
Did you
I
swap to the
swapped
channel?
over.
Then
I
go?
swapped to the channel. I swapped to the channel, joined the raid party, and then I had to go to the bathroom. I came back and I couldn't yes up. So I was like, oh.
The last time Nashi node ward, there was no such thing as yesing up, so he didn't even know.
That's not true at all.
He didn't even know it was a thing. He's like, what do you mean yes up?
It's just I haven't had much opportunity to practice yesing out. That's what it is, It's a difficult task.
Indeed.
It's almost like getting Google Docs, but not quite.
No, it's definitely worse. So I wanted to talk with you about Sage a little bit.
Oof.
So first with the nerfs that are coming in.
I'm still sore in certain areas.
First with the nerfs coming in, and then second just about balance in general. So KR got a patch on Wednesday that added some nerfs to Sage. The best way I can describe this is their shock relay skill, which is the RMB hotkey, has a 5-second cooldown, and it is spammable. Even when it's on cooldown, you can use the ability. There's no restrictions. The only thing that doesn't happen when it's used on cooldown is it doesn't have the forward guard effect, and it doesn't give you the crit buff that it normally gives. Gives a 20% crit buff for 10 seconds. That does not happen when it's on cooldown. But it does still do the exact same damage. It does not have reduced damage in PvP, it has reduced damage in PvP, but it does not do reduced damage while it's on cooldown in PvP or PvE. The problem is that this skill also overcharges Bolt. So they changed Bolt when Sage Awakening first came out. Bolt has a 2-second cooldown, and you basically had to use Bolt, wait 2 seconds, use Bolt. Bolt is their side dash, like iframe, Shift A or D or Shift W or Shift S, whatever. But they changed it so you can overcharge Bolt. So whenever you use an Awakening ability, essentially a lightning ability, it makes it so you can use Bolt while it's on cooldown, which helped the mobility immensely. And in my opinion, just made the class feel way more fun to play, because it felt really sluggish and slow and kind of like weird at first. It felt very like a wizard, an Awaken wizard when it first came out. But then the way they changed it makes it feel like it has a lot of mobility and movement. So it's like actually hard to track and follow and whatever, which is cool. But it was like, it's a little bit too much because RMB, which you can spam even when it's on cooldown, overcharges Bolt every time. So like if you want to just save stamina and just chip away at people with a skill without blowing any cooldowns, you can literally iframe RMB, like over and over and over and over and over again. And every time you press RMB and shoot out the laser beam, it still does full damage, and it overcharges your iframe, so you can use your iframe again immediately after. And while you're shooting it, when you press RMB, it actually is recovering stamina. I don't know. It made it incredibly easy, like way too easy in my opinion, to manage stamina play and also just kill, steal, and pop off in wars and group play. Like in group play, like you've seen the laser, it has like decent range. It's not like,
it's pretty considerable.
Yeah, it has decent range. It has an okay AoE size, and I mean it just comes out instantly. It's like very hard to react to. So what they've done on KR is made it so when you press RMB, it only will overcharge Bolt, or rather any of your skills that are overchargeable, when it's off of cooldown. So every 5 seconds it'll overcharge, and that's it. So you can go RMB Bolt, and then you have to use a different ability to overcharge Bolt. They applied the same rules to Upsurge, or sorry, Lightning Surge, not Upsurge. Lightning Surge, which is the spacebar ability. That skill also will only overcharge Bolt when it's off cooldown, and that skill has a 5-second cooldown as well. So now if you want to move around with Bolt kind of indefinitely, you have to actually use your cooldowns and use other abilities. I think that this is a good change. I know a lot of people think that it needs more nerfs than that, but I think that this is a good start, and just to see how it plays out. I think it'll still feel really fast, it'll still feel really fun, and it'll still be really strong. But with the RMB spam, it was just like, it was very much like launch Succession Sork that was spamming Abyssal Flame over and over again. Remember that?
Yeah.
Where it was like, yeah, you could do a more optimal combo, but that was
like,
really
why?
safe and really easy, and it just
Yeah.
killed people, so you could just spam it. Those are the good days, dude. Poor Suck Sorks. They haven't played Suck since that got changed. They're all playing Awakening now. Yeah,
Can
so
I maybe like, so I'm on the fence about that change being enough.
mhm,
Obviously, I need to see it play out, like how you said. I
mhm.
want to give it the opportunity for that patch to come through before I, like, scream and rave that it needs more. However, there would be like one, if without actually targeting necessarily the current functionality when that patch comes out, there would be one thing I request.
Okay.
Give it some sort of trail to let you better track it, because the
Oh,
movement is just
so
too ridiculous. And
that's the other
it,
part. I didn't quite get to that. But so
okay.
the overcharge, now I don't know what it looks like or if it's going to be enough, but the overcharged version of Bolt, so whenever you use Bolt while it is on cooldown, has a 2-second cooldown. If you use a skill to overcharge it, and overcharging is just a fancy way of saying letting you use your iframe while it's on cooldown. So if you use a skill to overcharge Bolt, the overcharged version of Bolt will now have a brighter, like more obvious animation to make it easier to see. I don't know though if it's going to be enough to make it actually easy to track, because yeah, Sage is incredibly difficult to track currently.
Awaken Sage.
I haven't
Suck
gotten to
Sage
see.
is far easier.
Yeah, Suck Sage is far easier after their nerf. So I agree with you. It needs to be easier to track for sure.
Yeah,
and I don't know if that
just
change will be enough, but they did do something to
Yeah.
that, so they are at least aware of it.
Yeah, that's my only extra critique on the class, without like screaming, ranting, and raving that it needs more before I see what they've done. So I think that's fair for me to ask. I think you would agree. So
Yeah, being able to see where they're going is. I mean, they've done this for a few other classes too.
yeah.
They had to do it for
It's
Sage.
like, even if there's like a little aura, like with those Suck Sage, that's what they did, right? They gave it like a little aura while it's moving in Rift Chain or whatever.
I want to ask you this, Nashi. Someone's asking in chat, and I want to hear your response to this. But why are they nerfing the class so much when they left? It took them years to touch Wiz Witch.
Well, I think, to be fair, all right, I gotta play a little bit of devil's advocate. I'm definitely not white knighting this at all.
Okay.
So I think, to be fair, with PA now taking over publishing and having more direct contact with the NAEU market, and after the market really showing that NAEU is pretty much the breadwinners for them right now, we're the ones bringing in the bacon, bringing home the bacon.
Yeah,
I think
NAEU.
they're paying a lot more. I think they're paying a lot more attention to the NAEU market, and I think they're really taking our criticisms into account. They probably weren't getting proper communication with Kakao before. We don't know for sure. That's just an assumption. And now they're just getting better communication with us because they're more direct. So why it took them so long? Possibly bad communication, possibly not paying attention to the NAEU markets, and now they are. They have addressed many things since they've took over publishing in the last 4 months, right? 4-ish months? 3-ish. I can't remember at this point. 4 to 3 months or whatever. So I think it's fair to say that we need to give them an opportunity to address the issues as we mention them. They have been really quick to address a number of issues that we brought up recently. They are now finally addressing Suck Wizard like they did a few patches ago. And they're starting to tap into like Sage after Sage got overcharged. So I think they're having a lot better response time. I'm pretty optimistic with that. It's actually making me feel a lot better about the state of the game, even though there's still a ton of things that need to be addressed. I think they're handling the things that are most pressing. Now, obviously, there's tons of other things that need to be addressed. They need to like pump out the node war content changes. They need to continue on balance changes, and the many other issues. Like there's still other systems in place, mechanics that need to be addressed as well, such as the slows need to be addressed again. Even their half measure unfortunately didn't really do anything. Resistances need to be looked at. There's so many more things that need to be addressed. But to what I was saying earlier, I think we need to give them a little bit more time and opportunity to fix these issues. I think that's fair. Yes, it did take a long time for them to address Suck Wizard, but like I said, ever since they took over publishing, they have been addressing issues much more quickly. And I think that's showing some positive outcomes for us as the player base.
Yeah, I don't think we should wait as long as they did with Suck Wiz Witch, and
correct.
I think it's a good thing for them to address stuff fairly quickly and for the changes to be subtle. His follow-up is make everyone re-roll and then kill the class. Like this is, if you think these changes are killing the class, then you definitely don't understand the class in any capacity.
Yeah, and if I can comment on that as well, I mean, if you really think it's okay for someone that, Frosty, how many days have you spent on Sage?
Well, today would be day 2, but yesterday when we were dueling, it was almost 24 hours.
So less than 24 hours.
Or maybe it was 24 hours. It might have been 24 hours.
Even considering his gear score difference over me,
no, I took off gear. I took off
gear. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Even though considering the gear score difference, he lowered his gear, and he was still able to just completely and utterly control the fight, and I can't do much about it. Like I can catch him here and there with stub arrows and whatnot, but I literally could not touch him for the most part. And that's just not okay. Like that, and that's not just a class diff, in terms of like my class versus his class. He can do that repetitively to multiple classes. Pretty much almost all of them, right? Like I'm sure there's a few bad matchups, but like to come out of the gate, have little to no experience in the class, you're just basically copy pasting, the things you've seen, and you're figuring things out as you go. You're really good at figuring out new classes really quickly, admittedly, but that have such little experience and be able to like perform at a level that's probably acceptable in node wars and sieges, like that's insane how like overpowered that class is right now in its current state.
I think that well, I mean it's crazy because like when I compare it to Awaken Hash, because I recently started playing Awaken Hash, and like, well, not recently now, but like a couple months ago I started playing Awakening Hash. I rolled a Suck, learned Suck for a while, and then I swapped to Awakening, and I think Suck is relatively easy. Now with the Arid Assault nerf, like it probably would have been a little bit harder because that's all I was doing when I first started playing Suck, because when you're learning, you're like, hey, I can block jump over and over and over and over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
But on Awakening, when I swapped to Awakening and I was dueling like any of my friends, it was like a miserable experience for me because I'm like, dude, I'm like slow swapping all the time. I'm like messing up my movement. I'm misaiming everything. I have no idea how to do any of the cancels. I have no idea how to purge cancel. I have no idea how to tab swap. Like I don't have any clue. My combos, I'm like dropping my combos constantly, like everything. So when I duel people on Awaken Hash, when I first was learning it, it was like a miserable experience. Like for a week, I had to basically just, all of my friends that I normally can beat on my Kuno are just shitting on me for like a week, But on Hash or on Sage, I'm like day one, like none of my friends can beat me. I'm literally just farming them the moment I pick up the class. The only ones that were like actually killing me is really good Sork or other Sages.
Yep. It's just, and for anyone to suggest that that's okay, they're crazy.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, the class is really easy, and right now it's just the mobility is just too easy. And I think these changes are a good step. We'll see if they need more changes. I'm not really for like doing a massive amount of changes right away. I like that.
PA in general is just not really about nerfs anyways, but they have to address some things.
Yeah. And these nerfs, like, I don't even think these nerfs really changed that much. Like,
No.
so when I was
I don't
fighting
think
you
they
yesterday,
will.
like I told you, I was trying to go under the pretense that the changes were already in place. So I was trying my best to play in a way where I'm not using R&B to overcharge Bolt.
Yeah, but you still felt like you might have been accidentally
I
like
mean, it's possible,
going.
right? Because I'm still new
Yeah.
to the class. So if I actually didn't have those skills, maybe it would have felt a little bit different. But I wasn't
Yeah.
really spamming R&B and iframe much yesterday. So yeah.
It's just the amount of power that class has right now is overtuned beyond belief. It's like you thought Suck Wizard was bad. Suck Wizard, you felt like it was just so oppressive and whatnot in its own way. You couldn't really like stop it too much unless you had a grab, for example. Sage, it's just like a different level of that. That's how it feels to me. Like they, yeah, it just I like at least against Suck Wizard, I could at least back off and like make them approach me, and I can like kind of control the pace a little bit.
Mhm.
I can't control the pace versus an Awakened Sage. You could literally run me down, teleporting
Yeah.
around in iframe
And you're
the
just
entire
talking
time, essentially.
You're just talking one. But I do
Yeah,
think
that's just 1v1.
Awakened Sage actually is very good in large scale right now. I still think Wizard's much better. Like if I have to fight a
Yeah,
guild of a bunch
probably.
of Awakened Sages, I'd much rather fight that than a bunch of Wizards, even after the changes.
Yeah, I mean they can sages can get caught for sure, but it's just in 1v1 scenario. If I'm not able to pressure you to use other skills, not really. And most classes can't, so
Yeah. So dude, you've been playing Awakened Maywa now for a while. You've had not really a node war. Our first node war that we didn't have a fight, right? Or did we? I can't remember.
the first node where we had like a small fight.
Right. I don't know how is Awakened Maywa these days? Because I know you basically
Actually,
didn't really play it for like a year. Right?
yeah, yeah. I mean, well, actually, I didn't play it for like a year and a half. 1 second. Someone's asking for my fucking weapon. But yeah, so I didn't play Awakening for like a year and a half, and I didn't like the state Awakening was in. It was pretty it was pretty like very dull. Like it was just like repeating the same skills over and over. The damage was like super lackluster as people were constantly getting more and more gear. I felt like everyone was more out of reach to be able to be killed by me.
Mhm.
And admittedly, it is because of like my own lack of gearing up. So it's a two-part problem. But also the class in general, the damage is really low and not scaling very well from even players that did have the gear. But yeah, they've since addressed a lot of those issues as far as like the damage scaling and whatnot. So the damage definitely feels better. It's still probably in comparison to some other classes. Now, mind you got to keep that in mind. I'm comparing it to other classes, so some people might have different opinions on this, but it probably is still not fully scaled up to where it probably should be. But it definitely feels a lot better. I'm able to kill, say, Rage, who has like 401 DP. As long as I have the proper spec, and that's at 301 AP, so that's pretty good. Succession could obviously do the same thing with a little bit less AP, and less need for more accuracy. Since now I don't have the Offin anymore, I have Zarka because I need Zarka for making sure that Awakening can actually do the damage it needs to do versus evasion targets, and also PvE. But yeah, I mean, Awakening is fun. All the changes that they did over the course of the last year and a half. I mean, most of the changes happened back in, I think, August of last year, so almost a year ago. And then also again in October, I think is what it was. All those changes were very positive for the Awakening kit, getting it up to par at least. to actually be able to perform to some degree in this meta. Mind you, it's still not a meta class at all. Most classes aren't, to be fair. But it is definitely fun. It definitely has a lot more potential. You can actually damage trade a lot better than before. You can dive into large scale balls, like on the outskirts, mind you, and chip away at people on their backs if they're not paying attention to you. So she performs that role pretty well. Succession has a little bit harder time at doing that. You have to be more of like picking off only, pretty much. When Awakening can do that and chip away at the outskirts of a ball as well. So yeah, I mean, overall, my thoughts on it so far is it's fun. I just want to get more gear to really see what kind of potential it has, and an
iframe on sleet step,
and then iframe on sleet step, and then we'll be good. No, I mean, I think giving the state of the meta, probably needs a little bit more damage overall on the skills. I know some people might feel that's ridiculous or whatever, but I think if you compare it to like some of the other classes, I don't think it's unfair to ask for like maybe 10% more damage across the board on some of these skills. Some of them, not all of them. Just to get us in more line with what our role is. Our role is to play as an assassin, right? We don't have stealth mechanics. We don't have a lot of iframes to protect us currently. Hoping in the future that changes. And we don't have like too many other like crazy mechanics that really help out with the assassin role per se, like range combat. Because stub arrow doesn't do any damage, and Musa has quick shot, but we don't have that. So our main thing is to dive in and literally be melee. So we're putting ourselves at risk of chip damage, and if our damage isn't enough, we're going to have to stay in longer to finish our opponent off. And as an assassin, that's not very good. You need to make sure you can delete your opponent. So it's a combination of gear, me getting more gear, and probably in some cases, certain skills needing to be a little bit more buffed up. But just my thoughts on it.
All right. If you're having fun, that means it's probably too strong.
Wait, what? Wait, you have fun on Kuno, but you don't feel like it's strong.
I do. I miss my Kuno. Someone sell me a pen black star, please.
Is that the only way you're gonna go back to your Kuno right now?
Yeah, because like when I get right now my actual weapons are on my hash, and if once I get a pen black star, I'm gonna use a coupon to roll it to short sword, and then I'll have my Kuno will have my main weapons again, and then
nice.
And then we'll be home, and then from there I'll just tag everything all the time, constantly, because I have a problem.
Yeah.
This week I went through Ranger and Sage this week, so.
To be fair, I got to give you credit. The fact that you were able to save up 100 bill without like blowing it all to rerolls is impressive. So.
I know. I only rerolled.
That's a feat.
That whole journey, I only re-tagged one time.
That's impressive.
That
is so impressive.
Hard. I thought about it every day, but I only re-tagged one time.
You know what's very unfortunate? If you would have you said you grinded about 40% of it on your Kuno, and then like more like 50-60%.
Yeah, I probably did for this. I grinded out about 70 bill total, and then the rest was enhancing events and just random stuff. And I probably did. It was probably split 40-60 Kuno hash. But that was Awakening hash. I want everyone to know that. All right, not suck hash.
Okay.
Very probably less than 5% was on suck hash. The rest was mostly Awakening Kuno and Awakening hash. I don't know why, dude. It's weird. Like I look at the class list now. It's so funny because like opposite of like 6 months ago. But I only have interest in Awakening classes. Like if I play Ranger, I only really like Awakening. If I play Sork, I only like Awakening. Kuno right now, it's mostly Awakening. I do enjoy suck on Kuno, but it's like. It's in a weird spot for large scale, and I really enjoy Node Wars, so it can't really play suck. Yeah. But Sage, I really like Awakening. Hash, I really like Awakening. So it's like, I don't know, it's a weird spot.
I think for a lot of classes, except for like some of the meta classes, Awakening kits are considered better for large scale. Is that Is that fair
I
to
think
say?
that's true for a lot of classes, yeah. Although hash is not one of them, but I still
Yeah.
prefer hash awakening in large scale. I think it's way more fun.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, no, it's good though, you know? You saved up 100 billion and now you're almost there. You just got another hurdle to get past, and that's just, you know,
Patience.
PA and MRT guys. Yeah, or RMT.
MRT.
Yeah,
Yeah, dude. Patience and MRT. We got this.
we got it.
All right. I can't remember. Did we skip comments last week?
I thought we did 2 weeks worth last week.
Did we?
Or was that the week before?
I think that might have been the week before. Because I had to leave, remember? And I think we ended up skipping. Let me
Yeah. I think you're right, actually.
crap.
Well, we'll remember once we start reading some of them.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Let me see.
I'm optimistic.
Anyone know? Did we skip comments last week?
We might have. This is
Yes,
bad, we can't
because we
remember.
enhanced and we didn't even get to see those comments about the enhancing. Okay.
True. That's right. We did
Yeah.
not.
All right, so let's do this. Here we go. Stretch this out. Okay. So this is from 2 weeks ago for anyone who is new to the show, new listener or whatever. We basically read the comments on the YouTube video every single week, unless we run out of time for some reason. But yeah, so we're catching up 2 weeks. This is from 2 weeks ago, and then we'll do the one last week. So Kelly Knott says first. Stellar Mind Studio says sloppy second. Fitzgood says, when is Frosty going to take charge to become a real Kuno ambassador? Did I don't know why. I feel like I did read these maybe, but now it's just
Maybe
like
he
in my head.
repeated it.
Oh my god. Does anyone know? Did I read these last week?
Okay, they get an encore.
You know how I can check actually? Hold on. I know what I'll do.
Pull up the VOD from last
I'm gonna
week.
pull
and
up the
listen.
VOD from last week, dude. Did I read these already? Let's see. Hold on.
Professional podcast.
Yeah, dude. This is how they do it in the pros.
They review it real quick before.
Yes, I did read this last week. So we definitely read these already. I don't know why I thought we didn't. Yeah.
I mean, I was in agreement with you that we were. I think we made this show a little bit shorter last week too.
Yeah, something like that. All right.
And that allowed us to read them.
I did. Okay, there we go. All right. Lost Soul says, am seeing a lot of wizard playing saying PA nerfed them too hard. Imagine having a SACC with high damage, 2 TP, and can heal to full HP. Oh, and they got PA. Hash Arid need another nerf, and I main the class. Yeah, our Hashashin Arid Assault demo last week was good.
Yeah. That was yeah, and you caught me yesterday when you switched to hash. You're like, oh, add you to the list now.
Yeah. I have here a list of 5 people. 5 people that I've caught with Arid Assault after the nerf that should all be embarrassed because the skill's really, really slow and super easy to read, and you should never, ever be caught by it ever again.
Apparently.
Granted,
Allegedly.
you did catch me out of my Arid more than I caught you with Arid. But it was you caught me out of the end, not the beginning. I don't think you ever caught me out of the beginning.
No, it's always the end. I don't target the beginning. And that's just because I'm conditioned from fighting Kyreem. Shit pisses me off.
I have Bloom on the list 5 times.
5 times.
Lost Souls, Musassin says second comment. Dude, after fighting my hash yesterday, like you were saying something like I gotta sit down with Kyreem and teach him some of my cool tricks, my precision. What were you saying?
Wait, me?
Mm-hmm. He said,
I
like,
guess anything.
"Goddamn, I've never seen any hash play like this. This is crazy. You should sit down with
Oh my
Kyrie and
gosh.
teach him." It was something like that. Anyway, Grim says, "I don't know about NA or KR, but at least from my experience on EU, Awaken DKs have become much more popular. I would even argue they're replacing Suck Wiz to some extent. Lately, I feel like a lot of my deaths in large scale are being sniped by Awaken DKs. It's definitely one of the more oppressive classes in RBF now, too. Definitely not a class which needed damage buffs. That said, there are bigger issues for sure. Sage, or more specifically Awaken Sage, is absolutely busted. The essay on Nova's Excel is still crazy, and let's be real, the post voltaic part of Wizard's combo still does too much damage."
I'm gonna have to. Are you done with the
No,
comments?
there's more. Hold on. Also, if Wizards are getting caught in voltaic a few times per node war, I'd say that's a sign the nerfs didn't go far enough. Think about how often you get CC'd in large scales of melee just because of small gaps in your protection, let alone intentionally using something unsafe on a regular basis as part of your combo. Only getting punished for that a few times per node war is pretty damn minor in my opinion, and most Wizards are still playing very recklessly. Imagine when they start trying to be more sneaky and strategic with it. Yeah, I kind of agree with the second part. I mean, I don't think it needs more nerfs necessarily yet. Like, if I were to, for me personally, it's just the range damage I still think is insane, but I don't think their combo damage is too high.
Yeah, I mean, if you
personally.
get caught in a combo, pretty much any class can kill you, so I don't really see that being too much of an issue. It's just like the oppressive damage, the chip damage.
But you had an
Probably
issue with the him. What are you saying about DKs? DKs being impressive.
Yeah, well, I was basically gonna say I don't care how much damage DKs do; they will never, ever, ever replace a wizard. I'm sorry, there's just too much utility and too much range damage. They offer too much. DK, no matter how much damage it does, unless it's like wiping guilds, like they do Shattering Darkness Legacy, and fucking its damage output is like equivalent to a Tamer 100%. That would be the only way I could see DKs taking over. But they don't offer the same things that a wizard can. So just gotta disagree with that little piece. That's all.
Yeah, and as far as the ranged damage, hold on, I'm double checking here just to make sure I know for sure. The only thing they really buffed as far as ranged damage, because he's saying like people are killing him from range, is Shattering. I guess you could argue Dark Nebula, it's not really ranged, and Spirit Legacy, which also is not really ranged.
Yeah, and
So,
when I talked to Multi yesterday, he was saying there's only like a couple skills that are actually worth a damn against people that actually have gear.
all right, you cannot take Multi's Awakening DK advice, whatever. I forgot to warn you about that when you join Noto. You absolutely do not talk to Multi about DK. That is our #1 rule for anybody.
Oh, really?
Yeah. If you have DK questions, you direct them to Smoover.
Really?
He is like the curmudgeon of curmudgeons. Imagine if Rezlar and Nayashe had a baby and that baby hated everything. That's Multi. So
that's such a weird example.
Yeah, that's no. You don't take what Multi says. So look, here's the thing. I've noticed a lot of people complaining about their damage. I can't get on board yet. Maybe down the road it'll be more noticeable, but I think that DKs, I don't think their damage is too much yet. Maybe if there's more of them down the road. Right now in NA on Node Wars, there are DKs now. It's just a popular class in general, even when it was like considered not good.
Yeah,
and they're
people
really
have fun with it. That's the thing.
They're hard to catch. They're super slippery, but I don't know if their damage is too much. Like, I don't know. I don't really feel that way. Their damage is really good, which is why I say don't listen to what Multi's saying. But I don't know if it's so much that it's worth like complaining about right now. Like, I don't think it compares to Sage damage.
No,
I don't think it's
not even near
like range wizard or ranger damage. Like, so I don't know. I don't think it's quite there yet, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, the dynamic can change. Like with how the game currently is, things could definitely shift in a different direction.
The other thing too about DK, why I'm like a little bit more okay with a DK meta over just mass wizards, is if a Mewa or a Musa or a ninja, Kuno, or Hash start going after the DK, the DK has to run, kite, and like deal with that character versus like I'm just gonna kill
Sit here
everyone.
and continue spamming abilities.
Yeah, I'm gonna kill everyone while that guy's chasing me, and he might accidentally die too. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly right. They don't even have to focus you. That's the
Yeah.
fucking problem with that.
Once a ninja locks onto a DK, like that DK has to either focus the ninja or run away. It's not like, oh, I can just kill everyone and the ninjas literally can't touch me while I'm killing all these people.
Yeah, there's too many openings on DK. If they continue to use skills, they can be definitely punished.
Yeah. So I'm
Even
not
if it's
just worried
just
about
a grab.
I would give it more time. I'm kind of surprised people are complaining about it that much, personally.
Is that not the only time you've seen that?
No, I've seen it a few times. I see it in the I've seen it in a few different Discords, people complaining about DK, and I don't know.
Huh.
We'll see. I mean, the thing is, like, I don't know. At the very least, give them their time. You know, let them have a moment.
Waiting for my moment.
Stellar Mind Studio says need more time to assess class states. DK still has gaps in counterplay and squishy, even at 344 DP. Wizards have the option to play Awakening. People haven't figured out how to adjust to the sweeping changes. I say give it a month to reevaluate. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Category says at 5410 full bloom. He has little eyes. Not sure what he's referring to. Something probably with back attacks. Chris Loden has a heart. Thank you for the heart. Spectral says leave Awakening Witch alone. She has nowhere near the mobility of others and can be focused. Was someone saying to nerf Awaken Witch or something? I don't know.
I don't think so. I thought people were saying like give Awaken Witch the split teleport, or were they saying Suck Witch? Give Suck Witch the split teleport.
Maybe. I don't know.
I know people were like mentioning that.
Will Maddow plays DK, very good DK. Says, oh no, never mind. Never mind. This is someone different. Disregard. I'm thinking of someone else. Sorry. Will
Never
Maddow
mind.
says
They don't play a good DK.
I don't know what Will Maddow plays. Will Maddow says, regarding that one comment, there are situations where you flag up and it's not really your fault. It's like when you sit on a bus where all the seats are filled up, i.e. Stars End, then a guy came up to you standing next to you having his dick in front of your face, and you told him, dude, what the fuck, stop it, and he just ignores you. Now you have an option of just give up your seat and walk away, or you beat him up, and the cop comes and arrests you. That's the reason why I don't grind Stars End and gather wolves. Anyway, just play a better class and grind Sacrea statue until Frosty, your own guildmate, shows up and grinds over you. Okay. Never mind. This is
that's just toxic.
This is Madoshi. He's Madoshi.
When you go back to Kuno, I'm gonna go and grind over you at Sacrea.
You're just gonna hold spacebar?
I'm just gonna hold spacebar.
Yeah,
I'm gonna out shovel you.
Dude. He literally said if you're sitting on the bus and someone stands next to you with their dick in your face.
That scenario is just like, what the
fuck? King Spook says, hammer class, please. Kenichi Sai says, bring back Mystic full iframe on Wolf's Frenzy. BDO is lacking competition as far as I know on PvP systems. What I think the reason that it probably won't die anytime soon. Tab targeting with 5-10 skills in 2021, LOL. There's a couple people I think that love BDO's PvP that want to come back because they miss it. Only problem is BDO just can't find the sweet spot on balance and incentive to keep said players from quitting or staying in retirement. Devs just don't care as much as we want them to because in their mind they think our PvP system is still uniquely the best. These idiots will come back and spend their money.
I mean, they're not wrong.
Yeah.
Typically someone that quits does come back after a few months, even a year or so later.
PvP arenas win, please. Dude, at least 3v3. Yeah. Just a 3v3
honestly,
queuable trial arena would be, people would love it. Especially with the new trial gear, would be so fun.
Honestly, if they implement an arena system that has a queue up, either matchmake or team setup, so many more people would come back just for that.
Yes.
I honestly feel that.
We were talking about this. So, God, I want to give credit to the person whose idea it was, but I can't remember. But basically, what you could do, if they wanted to monetize trials, Make it so trial characters aren't like just expendable, like deletable characters, right? Like make it so like when you make a trial character, like that's your character. Let me customize its look and everything, and then let players buy costumes for their trial characters, and then give us ranked arenas.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, people would spend money on trials if you could permanently have a trial, and it always had like its trial gear, had unlimited pots or whatever the hell, and you could PvP with it in ranked arenas, and you could buy costumes for your trial characters. People would for sure. If I'm going to participate in tournaments that PA hosts or other people host, and have like 3v3, 2v2 ranked arenas, like I 100% would buy a costume for my main trial character. Like for sure. I think it'd be kind of cool. Ezra says, I think the biggest nerfs we need was Wiz and Witch large scale potential, so like nerf will take damage, because this honestly just made Suck Witch an even worse 1v1 class, and it's pretty disheartening since I don't large scale much. I mean,
I would feel bad, but I can't. I just can't. That shit was too oppressive for too long for me to really care about that, and that's really sad for me to say, because I don't want to be like, I don't want to feel that way about someone else's class. I want things to be in a more fair way, but it's just like that shit was so oppressive for so long.
Yeah.
I like, I don't know.
Look, I think
Is it really that bad in 1v1 now?
No, it's not. It's look, I think like I
haven't actually run into one.
I'm not saying it's great at 1v1, because it's not like a top tier 1v1 or anything. And I would love for it to get some changes. Like if they did something along the lines of I don't even know. If they did something to make it better in 1v1 without affecting its large scale in any way, I think would be awesome. I think that would be awesome for the class. Like I have no problem with WizWitch being good at 1v1. I've always argued on the side of even Awakened WizWitch back in the day. Like they should be good at 1v1. But it's, yeah. Belly is saying in chat, some matchups got better, some matchups got worse. Overall probably made us worse, but you can just adapt to it. Still feels fine, if not better. And like even then, like it's still.
If Belly's saying that, then I will defer to Belly on that, because I know Belly's pretty good at what he says.
Yeah, I think he's saying I'm actually enjoying having to learn the spots where I can sneak in a Voltaic, and it feels rewarding. Again, like I said, I think it'd be fine if it got some tweaks to make its 1v1 feel a little bit better. If they could find a way to not make them affect large scale too much.
Yeah.
I think that'd be fine. Same with Wizard. Let's see. Not So Fun says, only people who can enjoy Suck Sage PvP is highly geared players that feels like shit at 326 DP and get one shot by someone who are 269 AP hitting me while I rift. Yeah, that's I mean 326 DP.
Rift.
Dude, 269 AP, I feel like
Chain Rift.
Rift Chain, yeah.
He's talking about being a Sage.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought he was talking about like Rift bosses. I'm like, wait, what? How are you getting hit?
Yeah, you probably got to do, if you're going to be 326, you probably got to do tier 1 at still. 326 is really low DP. I don't know. Outside of like Sork, I don't even know how you do Node War with 326 DP these days.
I'm not far off from that DP, sadly, still with Novaron. And I can admit that it's too low even at my DP. If I even get looked at sideways, I pretty much fall over.
Yeah. Chibaneko says at 4814, Reslar needs an intervention. Please. Also, ghillie suits are the coolest outfit. It just doesn't look cool for male classes. I think it does look cool on some male classes. Dude, ghillie suit, I've already solved ghillie suits in RBF. In RBF, I mean, ghillie suits everywhere literally should still show a nameplate, just not show what the name actually is. Like have like question marks or just something there, underscores. So it's like their visibility is the same, but it's still hiding their identity.
Yeah.
The Awkward Ninja says, I think Reslar is underestimating the absurd damage that Fearsome Tyrant does in PvE now. 100% crit and the damage is alright. I do agree on the beast form stuff though, since it doesn't get the other boosts you normally get, nor SA during the skills that should have SA, although it could be bugged still. But the new flows are absolutely underwhelming is the main Zerker problem. It is almost insulting how low damage Titan Blow flows after Ancient Wave or Split Shot. For whatever reason, it seems to do less damage than basic LMB, and the new Pre-Awakening flow works with Absolute or Prime, it's just not fast enough. It needs to be like just a little bit better, like 5 to 10%, and it is there, but right now it's not quite there. The Predatory Hunt flow is pretty nice, though. Also, hard agree that Wiz Witch or any class that bitches about 1v1s can get a long way with a bit of practice, especially with the mid-level grinding. There's a ton of bad players on the PvE tags that you can slap with some practice. Yeah.
Sure.
For sure. Bloodwolf says at 144.45, LOL, this coming from Guild War 2 player. These mean those PvE crybabies are definitely a bunch of real crybabies. Juan Damashki says Warrior has a shit ton of gaps in skills. Man, actually, why I always complain about Warrior? That bunch of gaps.
Yeah, you see my comment on that one?
Oh, did you comment?
Yeah.
Nayashi replied, yeah, if you're missing 4 fingers. Wow, clever. Look at Nayashi, dude. Fucking straight up stand-up comedian. God damn. Well played, Nayashi. Well played. Super Sour Cat says Seasons was the PvE servers. I really hope they add them back because they were a ton of fun. E Chan says, can't wait for Mystic buffs. Oh shit, my bad. Was using Internet Explorer. Mystic buffs so good. Feels good, man. Gwen Lord of Cinder says,
That's actually,
yeah.
Before you jump in the next one, have you heard any more about Mystics? Because I haven't really heard anyone talking about Mystics after their buffs, like after the initial quote unquote like soft outrage about how much damage it does. Have you heard anything else?
No, I mean they do a lot of damage, and on Succession it's probably a little bit too much, but it's not, I don't know, it's not changing like large scale stuff. And in 1v1, if you get CC'd by the Mystic, you're probably gonna die in one combo anyway, so it's not like the worst thing. But
like are people like extremely high DP just getting shredded now? Is that my understanding?
I guess I actually got out of a Mystic combo yesterday in PvP.
That's a feat, man. How did you feel after? Were you like, you felt unstoppable, I bet.
Yeah. Wait, was it yesterday? Maybe it was 2 days ago. Maybe it was the other war. But yeah, Mystic caught me and comboed me, and I got out and killed him. And oh no, it was in a GVG. That's what it was. We were in a GVG, and
really?
a Mystic caught me. A Suck Mystic caught me, did his combo, and I got out with like 10% of my health, and I was like, not good enough, buddy. And then I full comboed him, like the perfect combo, and right at the last hit, Alki came and stole it with a Dream of Doom.
That sounds about right.
I was tilted, dude. He literally like he was so proud of himself too. He was just laughing at me.
Yeah, he was KSing my shit too, and I was, if that's the one that was at Orcs the other day. Yeah. He was KSing my kills, so I fucking KS'd him back a couple times, bastard.
Gwen Lord Cinder says Sucklaw in PvP is pretty bad. Not useless, but damage takes so long to come out, even though it's protected most of the time. Greatest use of the spec is being a rat, since backwards iframe into flight is very good at escaping. Yeah, the damage is, it's like weird, because when you have really high gear, the damage is actually pretty good, but it falls off against people that are like C20 for sure. So you have to run DR because you need accuracy. Like if you're an evasion Sucklawn, like you're really not killing that many people. It's really difficult to get enough accuracy to kill people that are evasion with Sucklawn and Awakened Lawn for that matter. But Awakened Lawn's like combo damage is ridiculously high, whereas like Sucklawn is like, I don't know, it's like AoE damage is kind of weird.
So wait, they have an accuracy issue?
Yeah, they don't have super high accuracy at all. So they call lawns blind. I mean, Sucklawn probably, I don't know, Sucklawn might have a tiny bit more than Awakening, but it's not a whole lot. But so I don't know, they're in a weird spot. Like I don't know what you would change because like just buffing the spin already does so much damage, and Salpuri does good damage, and their e-buff now it's crit, which buffs their spin as well. If I don't even know what you would do. It would be some of their more like, I don't even know. I'm not too sure. I'm not sure what you would buff on it to make it better without making it too crazy. It's in a weird place. Sucklon seems so hard to balance. I don't know, because remember how nutty it was at first?
Oh god, it was super oppressive. They literally just like would spin through entire groups of people and just murder everything. Literally a lawnmower. That's literally what they were.
Yeah, I almost feel like Crescent Barrage should probably be. I don't. Let me see. Let me just make sure I'm remembering this correctly. I'm pretty sure Crescent Barrage, which is SL and B on lawn, I believe does not have a CC on it. But let me just make sure that I'm not an idiot about that. It might be one of those skills that let me see. Prime Crescent Barrage. Yeah, PvE only hit, PvE only bound, and PvE only float. Like Crescent Barrage might, like I could see them adding like 10% damage to Crescent Barrage and maybe even making the first hit relatively safe. Because unprotected on the first hit, but then super armor on the second, third, and fourth. I mean, that might actually make it feel a lot better in Node Wars too, maybe. I don't know.
Probably,
especially because that one
gives
also
it a little bit more.
And that one gives them HP on hit too, which can help their sustainability in a war. I don't know. Maybe look at Crescent Barrage as something that could be tweaked. Because Blade Dance has a stiffen on it, and you kind of need that. And the damage is pretty good once you get to the end part. So the beginning has to be unprotected, and the end is safe. But Crescent Barrage was always a weird one to me. That I don't understand why it wasn't safe to begin with the whole way through. Never kind of made sense to me. Money to Make says the ninja buffs are amazing and the damage is nutty. This further solidifies ninjas as a top 5 PvE PvP class, and not 5. Now ninjas can reclaim their throne as the best class of all time. I just wanted to hear Frosty read this. Okay.
All right, we're gonna edit that out.
We're cutting that out. That's getting cut immediately. Yeah. I don't know if it's top 5 PvE. Its PvE is definitely a lot better than it used to be, though. It's right where I hope Kuno ends up one day. Matthias Rio says at this point... Matthias Rio says, at this point is quite clear quite clear that we're going to get an Awakened Sage, Awakened DK meta. Way better than full caster meta, but still hurt melee classes. About Hash, I'm a suck Hash main. If Hash was released the way he is right now, no one would complain. In fact, most people would say that that's too strong. So yes, the nerf was in fact necessary. Yeah, if Hash was released right now and in its current state and no one had seen like aired Assault or gone through the original days of Hash, people would definitely be complaining about suck Hash currently.
Oh, absolutely.
If it was a new class, even in its current state. I actually think with the aired Assault nerf, it like takes Hash a little bit out of the spotlight because bad Hashes are getting caught because they still just use it willy-nilly and they're not having as much fun with it. Plus the magic DP that everyone's getting is kind of weakening suck Hash.
Yeah, it kind of drops the damage Hash can do a little bit.
I'm a little bit still sad about Awaken Hash for that, but honestly, like Awaken Hash, like
it's the 1v1 kit.
So stupid. They just need to make Ensnaring Sand a little bit better in PvP and PvE again. Still, I still think it's not good enough PvE. If they made Ensnaring Sand a little bit better in both, I think that class is like the perfect large scale class. I would love also if Flow Dune Strike, the Flow to Dune Slash, was protected and could use Condemn after it. I don't know why you can use Flow Condemn after Dune Slash, but not after the Flow to Dune Slash. Makes 0 sense, but anyway, that's just, me daydreaming, and it's fun. Dreadspark says, Shy debuffs are terrifying now, like bongos are super annoying, but take a look at both Misty Haze and Delusive Light loot debuffs. Note the 26% AP reduction is not actually a percentile, it is flat 26.
That is the first time I've ever heard a Shy complaint.
That's a lie, they always complain.
Well, I meant like as far as them being too strong. It's usually Shy complaint in terms of they want things.
Right. Dude, MDK, yeah, I agree. If you could do flow velocity after ensnaring sands would actually be kind of nuts. But then the cooldown would be independent of Serpent's Coil, and Serpent's Coil would feel so weird. You just spin and then just stop spinning all of a sudden. It'd be so odd. Just minding my own business. Hey guys, just heard your response to my lengthy comment the other week. I've had a few days to mess around with arid changes in Node War and Siege. It's a tiny bit harder disengaging if you're surrounded by 10 plus people, but not that much. Maybe, just maybe, I was overthinking reacting a tiny bit towards the changes without having testing it. Class still works fine. This is rich coming from me, but no hash should have a problem with the changes. And
hey, that's you know what? I respect an individual that, you know, will take the time to actually reevaluate their position on it.
100%. Dude, just minding my own business, you are a god. It takes a lot to admit that, like, all that whining and complaining was maybe an overreaction. He goes on to say,
it's so easy to overreact to a negative on your class.
Yeah, when
even
you read it.
Myself.
There's still sages that are looking at the upcoming nerfs like, well, class is dead, and it's like, dude, you guys stop.
Yep, there's still that kind of shit being spouted.
He says in parentheses, a message to the 90% rerolled mooses. Just take it as a blessing and keep quiet. It could have been worse. Thanks for reading my comment the other week. If I have any other complaints in the future, I'll keep it short, Lamau. No problem, man. Appreciate the comment. Daz says, life skilling is not like grinding where there's a lot of competition. Oh, and that was a quote. He quotes, quote, life skilling is not like grinding where there's a lot of competition. And then he says, oh, you'd be surprised. Some people go for blood at some of the better gathering spots. Yeah,
Who's he quoting?
One of us said that. Maybe it was Reslar. I can't remember.
It could have been me. I don't know.
I defended it. I was saying it is definitely more contested than people think. Skecker says, waiting to buy timestamp for lawn. Spirit of Sun says, honestly, please nerf the range on Arid. I felt like I was the only one that thought the range was out of control. Make it block jump range, please. I don't know. The range is crazy, but like Nayashe, like dealing with it yesterday, like isn't it? Well, I guess Awaken's a little bit different, but I don't know. I feel like it's in a decent spot. Like I really wouldn't nerf it further. Would you? I don't know. Arid Assault.
What's
the block jump on hash?
I mean, when I get caught in it, it is what it is. You know, I just wasn't paying attention. But I would say Arid Assault, because Arid Assault is the one with the charge up. You know, you're crouching down, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Arid Assault is the block jump. Like now it has the charge up. It has the wind up now. They both do. They all do now.
Oh. I hate the counter one. Whatever the counter one is.
Oh, you hate Mirage. Yeah, no.
Mirage.
But Mirage doesn't
Mirage is absolutely fucking disgusting when on a good player.
Yeah, Mirage doesn't quite have the same range.
Kyrie makes me never want to use a stub arrow ever again.
No, Mirage is super fun. Don't you touch Mirage.
That one is so busted. You can't even fucking say it's not.
It's fun, you mean?
It's busted. That's why it's fun.
It's super fun.
It is so busted.
Maybe it could use a slightly longer cooldown. Do you know?
Or just like no CC.
No, shut up.
No CC on it. Don't even fucking try. That
dude.
shit is OP as shit.
No, the CC is what's fun. Maybe just a little longer cooldown.
The CC is what's fun because of the CC is what's OP about it.
Use Chase, dude.
I'm literally, I shoot a stub arrow from fucking 30 yards away, and then I get instantly.
No, it's not. The range
caught.
is not the same as block jump. It's close, but it's not quite the same. It's like weird. I don't know. Maybe it's different on Suck, but on Awake, like I feel like they have to be closer than block jump.
Do not make me pull Kyreem in here.
Don't pull Kyreem in. I mean, I have to teach Kyreem some stuff. You said it yesterday.
Oh man. I did not say that shit.
Subnight Hawk says, dude, do you know what the cooldown is on Mirage?
What is it?
It's 5 seconds.
What the fuck? Are you serious? Yeah, that shit needs to be nerfed to hell and back.
Look, if the cooldown was longer, I think it'd be fine. It probably
my
should
retaliation
be like 15...
skill, which is hot garbage and gets me caught.
No, that skill's busted.
No,
that skill
shit.
needs to be nerfed.
Horseshit. My skill,
no, retaliation
is hot garbage. It lunges me forward and gets me caught. There's actually, Kyreem is one example of someone that literally purposely will force my retaliation to pop so he can punish the lunge.
I just want to see retaliation tuned down a bit.
It has a 15-second cooldown.
It does too much
and
damage,
your shit,
and it's too fast.
It does no
It's
damage.
one-shotting people.
It is not. Oh my god, the hyperbolic bullshit is insane.
So Niner Hawk says, I disagree on the whole PvE server thing. Or make it a very limited amount of servers, or like was suggested, I think, make it have like 50% less drops, trash, gathered mats, etc. I think. Poor retaliation. Does anyone even use it? You're like the only one that still uses that skill.
No, I lock it because I get punished out of it. I literally lock it because it's freaking pointless. Like the only time it works and gets people is when they're probably just not paying attention or trolling, or they're noobs. That's it. That's the only time it works.
Would you be okay with this trade-off? If they nerf Mirage Assault so it doesn't have a CC, they also have to remove the CC from Dragonbite?
No, how's that even equivalent? How is that even equivalent? Your counter skill has a 5-second cooldown. Mine has a 15.
But removing the CC removes the point of it, what it even does.
No, it doesn't. It's positioning advantage.
No.
You can then...
It's not, because if you use Mirage, you can't really, like, it's not one of those skills. It has an animation where you don't do anything after it. You're, like, stuck for a second. That skill is specifically for the CC. I could see removing the protection, but removing the CC makes no sense.
Hold on. Remove the CC, keep the protection, but make it so that you can cancel the end animation, so you can do something else.
But then it's like, you already have, like, you're weird.
Well, no, think about it. Say like you Mirage and then you Sin Splitter their back. Wouldn't that be just as awesome?
You can't. It puts you in pre-awakening.
Well,
I guess you could. You could hotbar it actually. I don't know. It's a pre-awakened skill.
Yeah.
Anyway,
shit's busted.
It's super fun.
This is just why it's busted.
Subnighter goes on to say, I think it's a good thing that resources are contested because it feeds into the PvP, which aside from hardcore life skillers is the primary reason to play BDO. Also, Duel for Spot is the cordial version of This Is Mine, Now Contest Me if you wish. I personally like the fact that you can flag to force someone to leave if they refuse Duel for Spot. I don't know, it just feels like stuff being contested is fine. Imagine if you were never contested at all, if you never were contested at all grind spots. Be boring as fuck. P.S. Loot scroll change, please. Would encourage people to PvP more in open world. Yeah,
when is that new loot scroll change coming?
How many cool stories would you not have if no one ever could fight in open world?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Like, honestly, like a lot of the drama happens from open world. And you get so much good content, like, you know, from montages and whatnot from open world related conflicts. So
look, I'm willing to go Mirage. Dude, barely anyone's getting caught by Mirage, dude. I don't want to hear
Oh my god, no. That is not true.
No one's getting
caught by Mirage. That is not true. That is not true. That skill is so beyond busted.
Just a 10-second cooldown instead of 5.
Here, how about this? Melee range. It's melee range positioning only.
I'm cool with that, actually. Like, if you're hit by a mostly melee skill and it works, I'm actually fine with that instead of it countering stub arrow.
I'm good with that then. I'm good with that.
Yeah, I can live with that. The Spoon Elite says I picked up on. They're not going to touch it though. They're
not going to touch it. That skill's going to be busted forever.
In fact, if anything, they will reduce the damage in PvP of retaliation.
Oh my god! It's not even used.
I picked up on save. Imagine that patch. Just a little bullet point says reduce the PvP of damage of retaliation by 11%. You'd be like, wait, what?
I'd be like, well, that's actually a bullet dodged. If anything, would probably be a happy you know, what's the phrase I'm looking for? It's like it's a bad situation, but it's definitely the best outcome. I don't know. But yeah, no, that would be fine. I wouldn't care if they nerf the PvE damage on retaliation. They could do that.
Spoon Elite says I picked up Sage on release, but wasn't taken by the Succession, even though it was super powerful. However, Awakening really gripped me, but I am feeling really unmotivated to play because, as put by Frosty, I'm scared the class will get nerfed. To get used to a mechanic like Overcharge Bolt or Rift iframe off cooldown just for it to be taken away feels really bad, especially straight after release. after receiving buffs. It feels like I'm being baited into a reroll. Not to say nerfs aren't warranted, but I worry my time is going to be wasted.
I mean, to comment on the baited into the reroll, I get when a class first comes out, you want to play it and whatnot, but maybe don't full to commit to it until you see the class is stabilized. Because like if you have any experience in this game whatsoever when classes are introduced, you know that there's a series of 2 to 3 weeks to a month where a class is buffed and then nerfed. Like that same kind of cycle happens with every new class.
Yeah.
So wait it out before you fully commit to a class. I mean, that's the only advice I can really give.
I mean, the thing is like, if it's super overtuned, like you can see when it's obvious. Now, I also am always worried about what the nerfs are going to be when they do nerfs. Here's the thing. I was thinking about Sage. Sucks Sage, because I'm looking at the state, and the most common complaint is that they're dying in Rift Chain, which is like, on one hand, I am like, the cynical part of me is like, yeah, welcome to what the rest of us deal with, right? But then I'm also like, they don't have other movement abilities on that class. That is the only one. So I almost wish that the mechanic that they did, you know how they added like, oh, you get, every time you use Rift Chain, you get plus 20 DP and 30% grapple res.
Yeah.
Which I feel like is a really half-assed. I liked it at first, but in practice, I feel like it's not that good. Like, Sage is really squishy, right?
Yeah.
I almost feel like it would have been cooler if, when they're in the super armor version of Rift Chain, like, while in it, they have 30% grapple res and then, like, 50 DP or like 75 DP, like something where like just while they're in that Rift Chain and they're not using abilities, they feel like they can take a hit without instantly being blown up a little bit.
Yeah,
and then when they come out, it's like back to normal.
It's basically like an enhanced super armor. So
right.
Yeah, I mean, like I was hoping they did that kind of same concept to Chase for a while, because like we get blown up in Chase all the time, right? And this is kind of like the same scenario as far as the movement is concerned. So I can agree with that from, you know, a Suck Sage point of view. I can see that being.
And as Cage points out, Rift Chain definitely needs to not have collision. The SA version, the when it's off cooldown, the 4-second version has no collision.
You get caught.
Dude, you literally can't move through players or anything. It's so stupid. Like that, 100% needs to be changed.
That one, see, like forward chase is the only part of chase that actually has collision.
Right.
But Rift Chain is supposed to be where like you're dipping in and out of like this dimension, right? So why does that have why does that have collision? Like at least chase kind of makes sense, and I do have a way to, you know, maneuver around that by just doing back chase, right? So I have a mechanic that allows me to like bypass that issue.
Yeah.
Them not having that is kind of silly.
Nathan Kelly says, just want to say you guys are the perfect white noise while grinding. Found you guys last week and enjoying the podcast. Glad you like it, Nathan. Looney Lunatic says, Max Hammer, what pure PvE concept which lets players grind for money without the chance to get disturbed by other players would be a good addition to the game?
I did, for some reason, none of that computed.
He's saying what pure, like what's an idea for a pure PvE thing that they can add to the game where you grind for silver, where you also have no chance to be interrupted, like would be a good addition. He's saying like what idea? A jump puzzle. There you go, dude. Do jump puzzles. You don't want to get PvP during a jump puzzle.
Jump puzzles.
There you go. Add some jump puzzles for this man.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I don't know. Maybe bowling in towns. If you could do some bowling for money.
It'd be interesting. Oh, what about the Velia? They have the guys that are playing cards. What if they added a card game thing?
Dude, I don't know why they don't do that. Like, it would be kind of cool if in every town you had like, you know, you could bet, like, yeah, you could bet a little bit of silver against like NPCs.
I mean, hell, this whole game is based around gambling.
Yeah, add some blackjack tables, some bowling. You know.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Like, I mean, there's so many games out there that have games within a game. I mean, even BDO still has games within a game. But
add a bunch of mini games in towns. There's like a ton, like, dude, like Grand Theft Auto has so much like mini games. Like they could add stuff like that. I think that'd be cool as hell.
100%, I agree.
Franks 80 says, I'm playing Suck Wiz, and yeah, I know it's broken and needed nerfs, but it still is and does. The thing I don't like about the way they nerfed is they only really affected their 1v1 and 1vx, where I don't think we were that good to begin with. Not saying we were bad, though. I'd much rather they just address the range CCs and heals that cause all the problems in large scale, as just nerfing protections, I feel like, made the class really boring to play, and basically a suck ranger with heals and AoEs. The thing I liked about the class was being able to play ranged and melee that you can just really can't do that now. Not complaining about being nerfed, just saying they took a fun class and made it boring. Please don't say just play Zerk because it's the stupidest looking class in BDO. No offense, Russell. I could not disagree more with your assessment. Here's the thing. So I've been hearing a lot of people say that the voltaic change only affected 1v1, did not affect large scale. I've had a long discussion with my GM, with Pax, about this. It absolutely affected large scale. The engages with balls that have like a bunch of casters is so much different in large scale now, and like significantly less oppressive. Now the range damage is still a problem, and I think maybe after a few weeks or months of the current state of the game, that can be addressed as well. But right now I still feel like we need to see how everything plays out. But it is a massive difference in large scale, like going into a ball where their meteor actually either isn't protected on the end so they could be caught out of it, or is the frontal guard version that doesn't have a CC, so your group's not being full CC'd by it. And then voltaic, like the amount of wizards that still just blind voltaic engage and get caught out of it, it changes fights dramatically, even in large scale. It definitely affected large scale, and I actually disagree that it affected 1v1 more than large scale, because in 1v1, as Belly was saying earlier, voltaic pulse is a positioning thing. Like, you can still engage and use voltaic pulse, but now you have to look at it kind of the way Ninja looks at behead. Like, I'm going to try to position where the very edge of it is CCing you, so that way I'm at a distance where you can't instantly react and catch me. And the speed at which voltaic comes out after a teleport is so fast, and goes into like frigid or whatever you want to follow up with, that honestly the opening is very minor, and in 1v1 it's a lot safer to use unprotected skills and have openings than it is in large scale. And then for Meteor, while some matchups did still use the normal Prime Meteor, a lot of WizWitch use the PvE Meteor for 1v1, which has not changed. The PvE Meteor is still exactly as it is, forward guard throughout the entire skill. So yeah, I completely disagree. I think it affected 1v1s a little bit, but if you are a witch that knows, or a wizard that knows anything about the enemy that you're fighting or the class, then you'll know kind of like how to teleport, where to teleport, where you can still clip with voltaic and then get out of it safely. Whereas in large scale, like, eventually you're going to have to use voltaic, and it is a good skill, and now it actually has some risk, so positioning is important, and if you don't respect your opponents and position properly, you get caught out of it. And when a witch or wizard gets caught out of it, it changes fights immensely, because now they're not constantly hitting you with the 3 or 4 more follow-up skills. They're not healing their allies, and they're not able to cast PA. So yeah, plus that voltaic, if they get CC'd, yeah, you don't minus 15% evasion on half your guild. Doesn't apply. So I think it's actually, it affected large scale more than it affected 1v1s. I think it's because in 1v1s, a lot of wizards and witch have a bad habit of teleporting directly on top of their opponent and using voltaic. And now you can't do that. And that's okay, because that was always kind of dumb to begin with.
Yeah.
Arcadius.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I could add to that is just like that the original playstyle where everything was protected, it was so brain dead. Like, now you actually have to think about your skills, and that's in your positioning, like you were saying. And I think that is perfectly acceptable in 1v1. And I think that's what a lot of classes should have to do and do. So yeah, there has to be some risks in 1v1. If there's no risks, then you're oppressive in the matchup that you're against. So yeah.
And I do agree, Zerker is the ugliest class in the game. Now, the thing is, though, is there's this sick new Zerker outfit that I think it looks freaking badass that they announced or release. I guess we're gonna get it on like the 23rd. But look at the you've seen this, right, Nayashi?
Yeah.
Dude, this outfit looks so badass that Zerker might actually not be the ugliest class in the game once this comes out.
It's actually pretty fucking cool looking.
Yeah, if this comes out looking exactly like this, oh my god, dude. I hope we get like the Halloween or the April Fool's version of this for other classes. It looks so badass.
Yeah, if you know that's a good point. The Halloween costume.
I want this on Kuno. That'll never happen. Arcadia says, any changes for Guardians? The changes for Guardians were pretty minor. Some connection changes with I forget even the skill off the top of my head. It was mostly like little PvE stuff, and then a crit added a cleansing flame and a little bit of damage added to one of their skills for PvE, but nothing too major. Frog says shapeshifter new class. That would be sick. I'd be down with the shapeshifter.
My dog is snoring.
I can't hear it, dude. It's good.
Okay, good.
Something Void says, Frosty, I hope you were right about them buffing the absolute skills, at least in PvE. Think about it like this. If you could choose between Awakened Spec that has almost all of the skills Succession does, a few original mechanics that Succession might have depending on the class, and it also has a whole Awaken kit too, what would you choose PvE-wise? The direction they are going is if you choose Awaken, stay in Awaken 99% of the time, making grinding a little bit more boring than what it used to be, and it's probably going to be like this for at least 6+ months, since I'm pretty sure PA thinks they're done with PA balancing for the time being. God, I hope they don't, but they probably do.
Yeah, they probably do, sadly.
I mean, you still, for a lot of the classes, like, I don't think Awakening is boring unless the Awakening kit is boring. Like, I don't think it's boring to grind with mostly Awakening. Like, on Kuno, I actually think it's pretty fun. And I prefer not to have to use the pre-Awakening. I think it's more fun using the Awakening. On Ninja, I do think Blade Spin, Malice, and Illusion are fun, and I do still think that they have their spot. You can use them, especially in like higher end spots where you have to do a longer combo, but I also think Ninja Awakening is fun to grind on. So if it's boring to grind on just Awakening, then I don't know, then that class just kind of has a boring Awakening kit, like Meiwa, no offense. I mean, I think their grinding kit is boring, you have to admit.
Yeah.
It's
I'm making
super
too much
boring.
money.
He likes holding spacebar, making 400 mil an hour though, so
it's kind of good.
Yeah, at the end of the day.
So all right, yes. I think there's definitely, I mean, honestly, Meiwa's kit for PvE isn't boring if New Year's Eve didn't exist, but the problem is they need to buff up too many of the other skills to actually make them outperform New Year's Eve spamming. So that's where the problem is. Like, even the recent PvE buffs, it just pale in comparison to what New Year's Eve offers, unfortunately. So this is what it is.
Yeah.
But yes, I it's boring in a way, but at the same time, I am able to focus more on comments and podcasts. So there's that. Less brain cells being used on PvE. So there you go.
And that's it for the comments. So thank you guys so much for commenting. If you want to comment in the future, we always read them on the show. And yeah, sorry Spotify people, I'll have everything up on time this week. I apologize, I'm bad at it. I don't know, I get caught up and then I forget, lose track of time.
And you upload it in like less than 5 minutes now, don't you?
Yeah, the SoundCloud thing is a little bit different because I gotta, like, I don't know, it's a little bit more tedious, but
gotcha.
Yeah. So we'll update you on whatever they change with the central market when that comes out. Hopefully we get Ataraxion soon, and I don't know, we'll see. Maybe we'll get some teasers for the upcoming, what is it?
The class.
Yeah, the upcoming new class and the Hideout Ball. We'll see what they're going to announce. Also, this weekend, all weekend long, we are going to be doing a tournament on. I'll be streaming the tournament the whole time, and I'll be doing casting as well. And I don't know, is the tournament ending this weekend? I don't know if they're doing the entire thing this weekend or if it's multiple weekends, but whatever it is, we'll be covering the whole thing. So
I feel like with so little players, they should just finish it in one day.
Yeah, potentially. We'll see what happens. But yeah, make sure you check that out as well on my stream, twitch.tv/SoFrosty. Yeah, and that's it. You got anything else to add?
No, that should be it.
All right. Thank you guys so much for the support. Thank you guys for watching and hanging out. We'll see you next time, hopefully with Reslar.